This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
They run around the far turn and turn into the stretch for the final time past the lakes and flowers. They straighten away 1938 to 2013. A final eighth of a mile, 75 years down to 12 seconds. Depreciable is the leader. He's a length and a half in front of Dan Derrick. Woodman's Luck in the center of the racetrack. Depreciable reaches. Woodman's Luck trying to gun him down. Depreciable, Woodman's Luck, Depreciable, and Woodman's Luck. A photo finish in the final race. It comes down to a camera close-up. 75 great years at Hollywood Park. That's a wrap.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Down the Stretch. I'm Mark Cassano. On this morning's final show of the year, well, you just watched the final race from Hollywood Park. We will have the final Hollywood Stakes, as well as the 3 stakes from opening day at Santa Anita. Then hopefully 4 guests will be joining us from South Florida, Mr. Bob Dibona, who will be wheeling back Star Harbor for this afternoon's Mr. Prospector at Gulfstream, Mr. Chris Block, who's got Sun Tracer for the McKnight on the proper surface at Calder. Here in New York, Michelle Nevin will try to upset the Alex M. Robb with Zetterholm. And finally, JoAnn Pepper from old friends at Cabin Creek. They've got a very special event open to the public later this afternoon at the facility. Time permitting, a couple of 2-year-old races from yesterday to take a look at. So all of that and much, much more if you stay with us for this, our December 28th edition of the program. Good morning once again. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Hope that Santa treated you very, very well. Got a very busy show this morning, so let's get right to it. In 4 days, it will be New Year's Day, the beginning of 2014. But for the equine New Year's Day, it's the end of the road. The winner of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, New Year's Day, has been retired. The son of Street Cry sustained a non-displaced chip on his left hind sesamoid, and he becomes the first major casualty on the road to Churchill Downs. And Summer Bird, who captured the Belmont Stakes, the Travers, and the Jockey Club Gold Cup en route to the 2009 3-year-old championship, has died. Summer Bird died of colic in Japan at the very young age of 7. And Breeders' Cup Classic hero Mucho Macho Man has won the Secretariat Vox Populi Award as the most popular horse in America. Now, there are 3 voting groups for this award: the fans, the Vox Populi Committee, as well as Secretariat's owner, Penny Chenery. And the vote was unanimous. And I don't mind telling you, that's a surprise to me. You know, Wise Dan is a pretty strong favorite to become a repeat winner as Horse of the Year, yet he's never won the Vox Populi Award. I just thought it was a bit odd for a horse who was really, in the background for much of the year. Obviously, he captured the Breeders' Cup Classic, and that's huge. I don't know, maybe it's just me. It came as a bit of a surprise to me. And congratulations to trainer David Jacobson, who has set the record for the most number of victories on the NYRA circuit in a year. Jacobson saddled his 160th winner Friday, breaking the old mark of 159, which Gary Contessa set back in 2007. And you know, it wasn't that many years ago. I don't remember exactly what year, but it wasn't that many years ago when Jacobson won exactly 1 race at Saratoga. Times have changed. And jockey Junior Alvarado will be sidelined for at least 3 months after suffering a broken left ankle in a gate accident in last Sunday's Eastview Stakes at Aqueduct. Alvarado, who underwent surgery this past week, has enjoyed an outstanding 2013. And according to Daily Racing Form and confirmed by the trainer, Wayne Catalano has ended his 4-year relationship with top owners Ken and Sarah Ramsey. The best horse they had together was the multiple Grade 1 stakes winning mare, Stephanie's Kitten. All right, Thursday was opening day at Santa Anita, and a pair of Grade 1 stakes at the Great Race Place. The first, the Malibu, restricted to 3-year-olds. The 19-10 favorite, number 4, Flashback. The 7-2 second choice, number 10, Bakken. Unbeaten in 2 starts here in New York, for Chad Brown. So, for the call of the Malibu, here's Trevor Denman.
Goes in, gates closed, they're all set. Feel for the Grade 1 Malibu, sent on their way to a good beginning. On the far side, Distinctive Passion very fast. Distinctive Passion gets the lead. Our double play from the outside gate very fast. Then we come back to Zebros in the 3rd spot, being followed by Bakken in 4th. On the inside is Air of Storm, 6 off the leaders. On the far side, the grey Holy Loot making some headway. It's another 2 back to Central Banker. They followed by Shaking It Up, who's got to be a good 11 off those leaders. Then back to Flashback, 3rd last of a very strong outfield. Z-Watt is 2nd last, and Syndicated ridden along from last, a good 20 off the lead. They couldn't be going any quicker out here. Distinctive Passion, the leader. Distinctive Passion being tracked, though, by Zebros. Zebros coming to tackle from 2nd. Air of Storm makes headway down at the rail. Then comes back, and Central Banker behind that. And then we come back to Shaking It Up. Flashback still a good 10 off the lead. They come into the top of the lane. Distinctive Passion hanging on. Up alongside comes Zebros down the centre of the track. Now here comes Shaking It Up with a late run as well. And Central Banker Shaking It Up. Central Banker, Z-Watt coming with a late run too. Shaking It Up on the outside. Central Banker Shaking It Up to win in a driving finish. Shaking It Up, and David Flores won the Malibu. Central Banker a very game 2nd. Z-Watt was 3rd, and Flashback was 4th.
Bob Baffert had the favorite in here in Flashback, who could garner only 4th, but he also sent out long shot Shaking It Up, who at 17-1 outfinished Central Banker by a half length to upset the Malibu. Z-Watt was 3rd. Shaking It Up was making his first start since finishing a distant 4th in the March 24th Sunland Derby. David Flores rode, and you won't hear me saying that for a while unless we're discussing racing in Singapore, because the 45-year-old Flores has left Southern California to ride in Singapore for the next 6 months. The other Grade 1 on the card, the La Brea, restricted to 3-year-old fillies. And as I have said for many years, I don't like age-restrictive races, other than 2-year-olds, of course, this late in the year. You should be running against your elders. To make it a Grade 1 when it's restricted to 3-year-olds, that's pretty weak. The 4-5 favorite in here, number 1, Sweet Lulu. Now, she'd have to overcome the inside post going 7/8. She'd have to overcome spotting the field 5 pounds. We'll see if she could do it. For the call of the La Brea, here's Trevor Denman.
Goes in, gates closed, all set. Feel for the Grade 1 La Brea, sent on their way to a very even start. In the centre, Journey On is fast, but now here comes Sweet Lulu at the rail, and Sweet Lulu goes up to join them. They set a fast early pace. They've been followed by My Happy Face. Along the inside comes Air Kitty. On the far side, we have Madam Cactus and Executive Privilege last, but no more than 3.5 covers them all. They make their way to the half-mile pole, and Sweet Lulu is the leader. Journey On keeps the pressure on from second, a length back to My Happy Face in third. Down at the rail comes Air Kitty. Executive Privilege is at the back along with Madame Cactus. Still only 4 would cover them all though. They run past the 3/8 pole, and Sweet Lulu along the inside travels well. Sweet Lulu the leader, up alongside Journey On's keeping the pressure on. In behind that, My Happy Face, Air Kitty. Now Air Kitty comes to tackle them. Executive Privilege got 5 to make up. They're at the top of the lane, and Sweet Lulu now has to kick on. On the outside, Air Kitty's running a huge one. Air Kitty now tackles Sweet Lulu. Sweet Lulu battles on. Air Kitty, it's a thriller in the La Brea. Nose and nose through the stretch. Air Kitty the advantage. Air Kitty's gonna win it. Air Kitty and Gary Stevens have won the Grade 1 La Brea. Sweet Lulu was second, then Executive Privilege. My Happy Face was fourth.
Air Kitty for Peter Miller and Gary Stevens benefits from a perfect trip as she runs down Sweet Lulu to capture the La Brea by a length and a quarter for her first ever stakes win in a Grade 1. Air Kitty was coming off a second level allowance victory at Hollywood Park, albeit against males. Sweet Lulu couldn't handle. She was inside under pressure throughout and could not hold off Air Kitty. The La Brea minute 21.47, just about a full second slower than the Malibu. And we are up to our first break on this December 28th edition of the program. When we return, it's off to South Florida, where we'll welcome Mr. Bob Dibona. As we go to the break, the King Glorious, the final stakes at Hollywood Park. The slight favorite at 2-1, number 8, California Chrome. So we will take a look at the King Glorious to the break, and we'll be back with Bob Dibona right after these messages.
They're off. Smooth It broke well from the inside. Life is a Joy, and to the outside, Better Bet. Convoy is between horses. California Chrome in a 5-horse mix early. Then comes Alpine Luck and Tis Out of Sight. Aotearoa is next, and the trailer is Ghost of Harrenhal as they run up the backstretch. The leader between horses is Convoy, and he's 3 deep. Pray Hard is just inside of him, and Pray Hard has put ahead in front. Convoy is second, a half length to Smooth It. California Chrome going to be 4 wide. He's only a length and a quarter from the front. He's 2 in front of Better Bet, a length and a half, 2. The outside and Tis Out of Sight. Nearer the rail, Ghost of Harrenhal. In the middle of the track, it's Life is a Joy, who moves up to be midfield, and the trailer with 3 furlongs to go is Aotearoa, and they run towards the top of the stretch, and Pray Hard is the leader. He is a tight length in front of California Chrome in second. The whip is out on Convoy. Smooth It backs out. Life is a Joy, new leader at the top of the stretch, and California Chrome comes roaring off the top of the turn, past mid-stretch in the King Glorious, and California Chrome is gone. He's opened up a 5-length lead on Pray Hard, and Life is a Joy. California Chrome to the wire, straight and strong. The second King Glorious goes to a dominant California Chrome. He won 5.5. Life is a Joy was second. Pray Hard third. Better Bet fourth.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Here in upstate New York, no one provides bettors with more wagering options than Capital OTB. Our network of branch and easy bet locations stretches from the mid-Hudson Valley all the way to the Canadian border and west to central New York. So whether you need to place a bet, fund your Capital Bets account, or watch the next big race, all the action is just around the corner. A full list of our branch and easy bet locations can be found online at capitalotb.com. Capital OTB, the better and most convenient choice for wagering in upstate New York.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Asano, and California Chrome for Art Sherman and Victor Espinoza by an easy 6 1/4 lengths over Life is a Joy to capture the final stakes race at Hollywood Park, the King Glorious. Our first guest this morning, well, he won the Sunshine State Stakes earlier this month with Star Harbor, who is being wheeled back this afternoon for the Grade 3 Mr. Prospector at Gulfstream. We welcome in from South Florida, Mr. Bob Dibona. Bob, Mark Casano welcoming you to Down the Stretch.
Thanks, buddy. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Awesome. Ready to go.
Well, you sound pumped up. If Star Harbor feels as good as you do, he's going to be tough to beat this afternoon.
Yeah, I think we're both on the same page.
Now, Bob, before we get into the discussion about Star Harbor, what's the weather like in South Florida this morning? Have you gotten a lot of rain?
Yeah, we got rain earlier. The track's been sealed all morning, but, it does dry out quick here. We're in a late race, so I'm anticipating a drying out fast racetrack come post time.
All right, let's talk Star Harbor. You haven't had him in the barn for all that long. When did he come to you, and what were your first impressions of him?
He's a good-looking son of a gun. Actually, he made the front page of the Form this morning, so he really looks good out there. And, he's a fast horse with class, and, pretty much since the day I seen him, I just like the horse a real lot.
And you've had him for how long, Bob? I know you haven't had him for that long.
Well, no, they sent him to me here. My owners worked together with some other trainers and stuff like that. But he was claimed to be pointed here for these Florida-bred races, and ultimately it was the Sunshine Million that was our ultimate goal. And this race kind of got stuck in between the Sunshine State and the Sunshine Million, and he come off the race so well. We felt maybe we could take a shot at this race.
Now, how did he train for you coming up to the first race earlier this month at Gulfstream? That last work looked awfully quick.
Yeah, I was looking for that. He's a funny horse. He's pretty much push button, but when you want him to show some of his speed, you got to put him in company. So that day, I worked him in company, and it was fast. But he did it easy. The bullet looked strong, but if you watched Paco that morning, he had the horse well within himself.
Well, we are about to take a look at Star Harbor's first start for you in the restricted Sunshine State. For our audience, he is number 4. Bob, talk about this effort if you would.
Well, it's no secret this horse likes to roll. We had some pressure early on from an outside horse that was kind of laying on us a little bit, and Paco did a good job just to sit a little chilly, and he was able to get rid of that horse and go on about his business.
What did Paco have to say to you after the race?
He loves the horse, but he certainly feels that 6 furlong were a better horse.
Now, you're wheeling him back quickly. It's 20 days, and, he had to work to win this. How did he come out of this winning effort in the Sunshine State? How's he been doing?
As good as a horse can do. It's just a little different way of preparing him. Coming back on a little shorter rest. If I'm on short rest, what's Fort Lauderdale doing? He stuck that one in Calder in between. So, I beat him in the Sunshine State, then he comes back and runs on 8 days rest. And now he's back on 12 days. I think 20 days is the way I've prepared him now and cutting back an eighth of a mile. I think he's fresh, happy, and ready to go do his thing.
Now, you mentioned briefly earlier that, he likes to roll. He wants to be in front or at least up close to the action. You're cutting back from 7/8 to 3/4 today. Does that concern you at all? Can he still show that speed and make the front?
Oh, yeah. Sure. Look at the fractions. He's set going 7/8, 44 and change, 108 and change. How much faster are you going to go?
Bobby hasn't shown a work. Obviously, you're bringing him back in less than 3 weeks. Hasn't shown a work since his last start. Is that by design? You're just trying to keep him fresh?
Oh, yeah, all by design. You know, I could do anything I want with them, but I designed a plan to just jog a couple miles a day, some gallops in between, and I basically think I don't need to do too much with them.
Bob, how many horses do you have with you in South Florida? How many you have stabled?
I got 10.
Tell us about some of the other ones.
Well, my second best, I don't really like to say that, but I mean, Star Harbor is getting the limelight now. But I have another really nice horse by Hard Spun. His name is Hard Enough. I claimed him here last year for $50,000, and subsequently he won the Jersey Derby, come back and won the Restoration, and then was just beating the 200,000 Kent. And then I freshened him up, and he just looks phenomenal right now.
Well, Bob, we wish you a wonderful winter and a successful winter in South Florida. We wish you all the best, wheeling Star Harbor back this afternoon in the Mr. Prospector, and we thank you so much for having joined us this morning on Down the Stretch.
My pleasure. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Bob Dibona, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, this is going to be interesting for Star Harbor. You heard him say he changed plans. The original plan was to wait for the Sunshine Millions, you know, which is a restricted race for a great deal of money. And obviously Star Harbor would fit extremely well in a race like that. But apparently the horse came out of his last start so well that they changed plans. And we're going to see if those change of plans works later this afternoon at Gulfstream in the Grade 3 Mr. Prospector. And we are up to our next break. When we return, it's back to South Florida, where we'll welcome in Mr. Chris Block, and we are going to find out if Sun Tracer and the McKnight will be run on turf later this afternoon. As we go to the break, also on opening day at Santa Anita, on the proper surface, the Sir Beaufort, where the 7-5 favorite was number 8, No Jet Lag, coming out of the Breeders' Cup Mile. The potential problem with No Jet Lag is he's failed to learn how to relax early in his races. And on grass, you need to get him to settle. The 2.5 to 1 second choice, number 9, Tom's Tribute. So we will take a look at the Sir Beaufort to the break. Back with Chris Block right after these messages.
Sea Sage goes straight in, gates closed, all set. And away they go. Jovino broke beautifully along the inside, horizontally speaking, now kicks on though to lead them. Here's Tom's Tribute and Sea Sage from the 2 outside gates going up to show speed. No Jet Lag settles in 4th just ahead of outside Nashville. Now Jovino, who break well, is taken back into the 6 spot, 4.5 off them. They're going a good pace up front. Dice Flavor, Procurement at the back of the leading group, and then a gap of 4.5 to Tis a Minister. Past the 3/4 pole they go, and horizontally speaking, No Jet Lag's taken a keen hold though, and No Jet Lag puts the pressure on. On the far side is Tom's Tribute. Those 3 now opening up on them. They're gone clear by 5. Sea Sage is back in 4th, then outside Nashville. Here's Jovino racing along in the 6th position, giving them a good 9-length start. Then Procurement, Dice Flavor, and tailed off a long way as Tis a Minister. Into the turn they go, and horizontally speaking, still the leader. No Jet Lag waiting to tackle from 2nd. Tom's Tribute right there 3rd. Now Jovino is starting to wind up, coming after them on the outside. Then Procurement outside Nashville. They come into the top of the lane. Tom's Tribute on the outside. Outside Nashville, Sea Sage. Jovino got carried very wide into the turn. Now it's Tom's Tribute taking the front. Tom's Tribute. Here's Jovino battling back on the outside. Sea Sage is in there as well. Procurement with a late run. What a finish. Anyone a 6. Jovino came back to win it. Jovino to Procurement. Close for 3rd. Outside Nashville and Sea Sage.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Using CapitalOTBBet.com is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Simply log on with your username and password from the homepage. 2. Fund your Capital OTB account through our Easy Money, Green Dot, or Visa MasterCard options. And 3. Place your bet on one of our 3 easy-to-navigate wagering platforms, Capital Bet TV, Capital Bet Express, or Capital Bet Pro. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Asano. My thanks to Bob Dibona once again for having joined us, and Gervino for Carla Gaines and Rafael Bejarano by a head over procurement. I like this colt very much as a 2-year-old. In fact, I picked him in last year's Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf, and he finally put it all together to win the Sir Beaufort. Our next guest has enjoyed a fine 2013 season. The barn has won, about $3 million in purses. Team Block has accounted for a little more than $1 million of that. They're going to try to add to those numbers later today when Sun Tracer goes in the McKnight at Calder. We welcome in from South Florida, Mr. Chris Block. Chris, Mark Casano welcoming you to Down the Stretch.
Thank you, Mark. Good to be there.
Nice to have you, Chris. First off, tell our audience what's happened to the McKnight. You guys have gotten quite a bit of rain in South Florida, as I understand.
Correct. Yes, I guess overnight there was a heavy shower that went through the Calder area, and I was informed by the stewards that the race has been taken off the turf.
Wow, okay. Now, let's talk Sun Tracer. Chris, coming off a very fine second half of 2012, Sun Tracer is winless this year, although it certainly appears that he has run well for most of the year. Talk about that.
Well, he has had a very good year, even though he hasn't made it to the winner's circle. He's run some big races. The big races were in the race at Arlington, the St. Ledger. He ran a big race in there. I think he had a little trouble turning for home. Actually, my other horse in there, a big time, who had been the pace setter, was backing up and kind of backed right into Sun Tracer's path. And I think if he'd gotten clear a little earlier, he probably maybe have gotten there. I mean, a good horse beat him, but I think it might have been real interesting had he gotten free earlier. So his last race at Keeneland was another race that came off the turf, and I thought he ran real courageous in there. He had to come off wide off the turn. I know that was on the synthetic surface, which equates somewhat to turf in some respects, but it was a big effort there as well. And he's trained well here in South Florida for this race. I'm really disappointed it's off the turf because certainly we have no idea what he's going to do on dirt. His breezes have been good on it, but you really don't know until you run, find out how they handle it in a race situation. So we're going into this kind of blind with what kind of effort we can expect from him on the dirt.
Chris, he's now 5 years of age, about to turn 6. He's the son of Kitten's Joy. Does he still enjoy training and racing?
Oh, yeah, he absolutely does. Yeah, he's got he comes from a family of runners. His mama's been a great producer, and they love to train and race, and they're durable horses. Actually, I think yesterday two of his half brothers ran. One in Chicago, who's 9-year-old, and the other one was I think an 8-year-old down at the fairgrounds that won. So the family loves to run. This horse is solid, and he's the kind of horse that I think still got a couple more years in him after this.
That's wonderful. We are about to take a look at a piece of the Kentucky Turf Cup back in mid-September, and as we pick it up, going down the hill at Kentucky Downs, Sun Tracer is 5th. For our audience, he's last on the screen. Talk about this effort, Chris. This is kind of a microcosm of his entire year. He's going to make a very solid run to challenge and then kind of flatten out a little bit late.
Well, I think Eddie Castro did a great job he rode him really well in the times that he rode him. In that race, the inside horses had a better trip, and he had to come off there wide, and that's I love Kentucky Downs and the way it's set up there, but it's a tough race course to come off the turn there Actually, it's almost like you're coming off a two-turn, one at the head of the stretch, and then again deep in the lane. And he was the widest of them all. So I think that's what made him hang last part of it. I think he got just a bit tired because his trip was wide, pretty much from the far turn all the way down to the wire.
Close here, as you mentioned earlier in the interview, very close second in the Stars and Stripes, the American St. Ledger. But Chris, is it worrisome to you at all that he hasn't been able to win?
No, not really. And I'll be honest with you, because he's produced the effort that I looked for. He's just been beaten by a better horse in most races, except for where I think he could have got clear, like in the St. Ledger and in the wide trip at Kentucky Down. The race at Keeneland's another example of horse. He was going into it great. He came off. The race came off the turf. He had to come wide off the turn, and which cost him. So he's had the worst of it in 3 of those races, where I think that probably could have cost him from getting the winner's circle. So no, I'm not. It doesn't bother me because he ran a top effort in all those races.
Now, Chris, will the McKnight still be run at 1.5 miles, or will they change the distance as well?
Well, I've been told that it's 1.5 miles, but I wondered about that myself. So at this point in time, at the very least, I believe it'd be 1 3/8 if it's not 1.5 miles.
He's never won at 12 furlongs. And as you said earlier, listen, this is a crapshoot. You really don't know what to expect with him racing on the main track. But as far as the distance goes, are there concerns for you?
No. On the dirt, possibly, yeah. But as far as his ability to get that far, no. I mean, the family has proven that it can do it in the past. Free Fighter, his half-brother, has won at 1.5 miles. I think this horse has just been unlucky and just hasn't been able to get there at that distance. But no, it doesn't concern me at all.
Chris, how many horses do you have in South Florida this winter?
We just have a small stable there at Gulfstream. We have 6 there right now.
In addition to Sun Tracer, any other big names?
Well, I've got some young horses there. I've got a filly by the name of Distorted Music. Actually, she's 3-turn 4, but she's only run 3 times. I think she's got a real solid future ahead of her. And also got a 2-turn 3-year-old who broke his maiden in his first start out of our stallion Fort Prado, a horse by the name of Affordable that's actually a half-brother to Sun Tracer. So I think his future is really bright. He's only had 2 starts. One of them was at Arlington. He broke his maiden in his first start. Came back, and it was a race that came off the turf at Keeneland on the Poly, and he had a really rough trip and ended up, I think, finishing 4th or 5th. But I really think his future's solid.
Well, Chris, want to wish you all the best later this afternoon with Sun Tracer in the off-the-turf McKnight. Want to wish you a good winter in South Florida, and thank you so much for having joined us this morning on Down the Stretch.
Thanks for having me, Mark. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Chris. Chris Block, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, the McKnight, even though Calder has, I don't want to say faded into the sunset, but, battling against Gulfstream, they're going to come up second best. The McKnight has always been a nice, solid race, and it was going to be a very, very interesting race on grass this afternoon. Unfortunately, the rains have moved it to the main track, so we're going to see how Sun Tracer handles the dirt for the first time later this afternoon. And we are up to our next break. When we return, JoAnn Pepper from Old Friends at Cabin Creek will talk to you about a very special event they have later on this afternoon. As we go to the break, the Harlan's Holiday at Gulfstream, 1.16 miles on dirt, can be used and probably will be for certain horses as a prep for the upcoming Don Handicap. The 7-5 favorite is number 3, Bourbon Courage, coming out of a 4th place finish against much better horses in the Clark Handicap and last. So we will take a look at the Harlan's Holiday to the break. Back with JoAnn Pepper right after these messages.
Was comprised, goes in, they're all in line.
They're racing in the Harlan's Holiday, and Chaba goes out to take the early lead. Purple Egg is out fast, and Reverone on the outside, and it's these three that lead them into that first turn. Senor Quisqueano went very wide there as they race into the turn. Running in fourth is River 7, neck and neck is fifth. Then Senor Quisqueano outside of Bourbon Courage, and the trailer is Joshua's Comprise. The leader is Reverone. Reverone will head them onto the backstretch, on top by 2 lengths over Chaba. Purple Egg is third through a 23-3 opening quarter mile. Then Senor Quisqueano racing outside of River 7, who has the rail. Then it's back to Bourbon Courage. Bourbon Courage is 6.5 lengths off the lead right now, and then neck and neck. Joshua's Comprise has 9 lengths to make up. Reverone heads them up the backstretch with Chaba only 3/4 of a length behind after a 47 flat half mile, and they'll enter the turn 1-2. Then Purple Egg, River 7, neck and neck inside of Bourbon Courage, and they're 6 lengths off the lead. Senor Quisqueano's not doing enough, and then Joshua's Comprise around the far turn. Reverone by a neck. Chaba, here's River 7, and he's strong on the far outside, and River 7 and Joe Rocco Jr. storm to the top on the far turn. They've gone to the front easily, pulling away by 2. And then leaving Chaba, Reverone, and the others reeling in behind at the top of the stretch. River 7 with a 2-length lead. Chaba trying to hang in there in second. Bourbon Courage is third as River 7 and Joe Rocco Jr. dominate the Harlan's Holiday. Chaba was second, and then came Bourbon Courage, followed by neck and neck and Purple Egg.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
I got it. Watch me. I got it. Hey! I got something that makes me want to shout. I got something that tells me what it's all about. I got a move that tells me what to do. If you don't, brothers and sisters, then you won't know what it's all about.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Asano. How about that? From James Brown back to Mark Asano on Down the Stretch. My thanks to Chris Block for having joined us, in River 7 for Nick Gonzalez and Joe Rocco Jr. by an authoritative 4 lengths to capture the Harlan's Holiday. Will they go on and try the big boys in the Don Handicap? Our next guest this morning is the co-owner and general manager of Old Friends at Cabin Creek, a local farm for retired thoroughbreds. They are having a very important event later on this afternoon, and joining us to discuss that as well as the facility is JoAnn Pepper. JoAnn, Mark Asano welcoming you to Down the Stretch.
Hello, Mark. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
We're good. We're excited.
Well, you should be. And you've got, listen, for late December, and our audience knows, at least the loyal viewers, how much I hate winter, you've got a wonderful late December day.
It is wonderful, and it's going to rain all day tomorrow, so we lucked out there.
All right, so let's tell the audience, what's the special event going on this afternoon at Old Friends at Cabin Creek?
Today we're going to celebrate thoroughbreds' birthdays all over the world, but luckily we have 15 wonderful thoroughbreds here that are our special guests.
And you're going to have an open house this afternoon.
Yes, our open house is from 12 to 3. We have soups, lots of hot soups from 7 different restaurants around Saratoga. We have birthday cake, coffee, hot chocolate. Last year we had a blizzard and we had over 300 people, so we're hoping for 500 today.
Well, that's wonderful, and obviously it is open to the public. JoAnn, is there a charge for the open house?
No, we're a nonprofit, so we just ask for a donation.
And you know what I like about your facility so much? The fans can really get close to the horses. In fact, when My wife and I were there earlier this year. She got so close, she wanted to bring home Roaring Lion.
Yes, he is so sweet. Everybody wants to take him home, actually. But yeah, the horses love visitors, and they're so used to so many people now that they just stand at the fence and just keep, letting you pet them. Most of them, anyway. We don't let too many people pet Will's Way, because he's got a reputation. But all the other horses just love it.
Let's talk about old friends at Cabin Creek. When did you start up the farm?
5 years ago. And 5 years ago, November. So it's flown by, that's for sure. And Old Friends in Kentucky's been 10 years.
And this is called the Bobby Frankel division. Tell our audience what Bobby had to do with Old Friends at Cabin Creek.
Bobby Frankel was a wonderful New York trainer. He moved out to California for a while, but he had always loved New York. And when Michael Blowen and I got together to discuss doing this together here in New York, Bobby Frankel had passed away that weekend, so we decided to just honor him and give his horses a place to come. And then, out of the blue, Michael Blowen didn't know Bobby Frankel at all, and he left Old Friends in his will, and it really helped Old Friends stay together when the economy started falling apart. So Bobby Frankel just helped Old Friends so much. And we didn't know that in the beginning, but it just was a beautiful thing.
JoAnn, approximately, how much does it cost for you to take care of one horse for a year?
Well, I figured it out per day. It's $15 a day if you add in all their feed, their hay, their spring and fall shots, caring for their feet every 6 weeks, and a couple dollars for emergencies. And that does not include owning the farm. So that is just for the horse itself.
And where does most of your revenue come from?
All from donations. We do a lot of fundraising. We have tours at the farm, and people donate here. And now we're so thankful for the Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance. They're coming through with some money for nonprofits that care for retired racehorses also. So things are getting better, for sure.
Currently, how many horses are in residence at Old Friends at Cabin Creek?
15. We have 4 stallions, and the rest are all geldings.
And I imagine that all of these horses have their own personalities.
Oh, most definitely. It's been such a blessing to me to get to know these horses and get to know that they're here for the rest of their lives and that they're safe. And they are all different, for sure. And we've been grouping them together and seeing different personalities come out, who's the boss and who's not. And, Thunder Rumble, he's the king of the farm. He knows everything that goes on. He holds the new horse's hands. Basically, when they come, he stands near the fence near them. And him and Will's Way are next to each other. They are both Travers winners. And they, every now and then, will race each other. Now we have Barron's here, too. He's been here about 2 months, and he is a beautiful stallion. He'll be 20 today, for his birthday. Him and Will's Way were together at James Bond's barn years ago, and they seem to remember each other, and they spend time at the fence kind of communicating with each other. He is such a happy horse. We're so happy to have him.
Well, that's absolutely wonderful. And Barron's, he won about $4.5 million during his racing career. As you said, he's about ready to turn 20, but he's doing well?
Yes, he's doing really well. When he first arrived in New York, he did get very, very sick. And he was at James Bond's farm because we didn't have room yet for him. And Mr. Bond took wonderful care of him and just got him through it. And now he's doing wonderful.
So for the folks who come later today from noon to 3, they can walk up and get up close to all of the horses you have there?
Yes, all of them. We can take pictures for everybody. They can feed them carrots and then enjoy a nice lunch.
Now, you're in Greenfield. It's 483 Sand Hill Road. For our audience members that would like to attend this afternoon, plug that in to your GPS, because I got to be honest with you, JoAnn, the only way I found you is that our associate producer, Julie Hoxie, drove there, because it's a little tricky to find. But 483 Sand Hill Road this afternoon from noon until 3, an open house. JoAnn, for our audience members out there who cannot attend this afternoon but would like to make a donation, how can they do that?
They can do it on our website, oldfriends@cabincreek.com, or they can mail a check to 483 Sand Hill Road, Greenfield Center.
Well, JoAnn, all the best this afternoon with the open house. I hope it's very, very successful. And, having it be 40 degrees this late in December is going to be very helpful. Thank you for helping take care of those retired thoroughbreds. We do appreciate it. It's something that is badly, badly needed in this country. And great success with the open house this afternoon.
Thank you, Mark. I wish you could come.
JoAnn, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and good luck.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. JoAnn Pepper, ladies and gentlemen. Folks, I can tell you this. Again, most of you know that I not only do I not like winter, I hate it with a passion. But Julie and my wife, we went there last year in the winter, and it was great fun because you can get up close with the horses, and you do sense their personalities. And listen, you got a pair of Travers winners there in Thunder Rumble, who's the king, and Will's Way. You now have Barons there. You have Roaring Lion. I don't know if Zippy Chippy, the lovable loser, is still there. But if you're not doing anything this afternoon, you'd like to do something different and fun, noon to 3, Greenfield, old friends at cabincreek.com. You can go to the website to get directions, but I think you'd have a very, very good time. And we are up to our final break on this December 28th edition of the program. When we return, a couple of 2-year-old races from yesterday. And I was quite impressed by horses coming out of both of these races. As we go to the final break, last Saturday in New York, the Gravesend, Palace against Strapping Groom. So we will take a look at the Gravesend to the final break. Back with more right after these messages.
And they're off. Palace breaks well from the outside. Abra is right there, and it's Abra to take the lead. Palace in second. Broad Rules in between horses. Battier is down at the rail, and Strapping Groom. Abra's got the lead, and the remaining 4 right behind Abra, the big long shot here. Strapping Groom has now moved into second. Palace is on the outside. Battier's down at the rail, and Broad Rule is 5th. Just 2.5 lengths, 3 lengths separating the field. The quarter went in 23-1. Abra by a head. Strapping Groom on the outside is second by 1.5 lengths. Palace is in third, midway on the turn. Abra and Strapping Groom, they're right together. Palace just in behind. Then it's Broad Rule and Battier. Into the stretch, the half mile in 45 4/5 seconds. And here's Strapping Groom. Strapping Groom in front, and in front by 4 lengths. Palace moves into second, then it's Abra, Broad Rule, and Battier. Strapping Groom, much the best in the Gravesend Handicap. Won by 6 or 7 lengths, and ran 6 furlongs in 1 minute 9 3/5 seconds.
This is the OTB Television Network, a service of Capital District Off-Track Betting.
Missed one of our TV shows? No worries. Now you can catch all your favorite programs online. Simply log on to CapitalOTB.com and click on the YouTube link at the bottom of the homepage. And look for our new podcast coming soon. CapitalOTB.com. Log on today. Funding your Capital OTB bet account is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1. Easy Money. Clearly the fastest and easiest method of depositing funds into your account. Make deposits or withdrawals in just minutes. 2. Green Dot Money Pack. Gives you instant access to your funds. Green Dot Money Packs are available at thousands of retailers nationwide. And 3. MasterCard Visa. Simply click on the link from the funding page, enter your account information, and fund your account. CapitalOTBBet.com. Log on today.
Welcome back to Down the Stretch, everyone. I'm Mark Cassano. My thanks to JoAnn Pepper once again for having joined us, and strapping groom for record setter David Jacobson, with Junior Alvarado up by 6.5 over Palace to win the Gravesend. Now, we have been trying to keep you abreast of the 2-year-old action in the maiden ranks and the entry-level allowance ranks. You know, it's easy to follow 2-year-olds who are running in the stakes, but we're trying to get you caught up on some of those running in the lesser races, so to speak. And next Saturday, being the first Saturday of the new year, we may unveil our first list of Kentucky Derby prospects, which could include a couple from yesterday. Going to begin with Friday's third at Santa Anita. These are 2-year-old maidens going a mile. The favorite, number 2, the Admiral, who was a closing third sprinting in his debut in last. And he is a half-brother to Madcap Escapade, who won more than $1 million. The 19-10 second choice, number 3, Cool Samurai, who debuted on October 26th at Belmont for John Sheriff's when he was 56-1. For the call of Friday's third from Santa Anita, here's Trevor Denman.
And away they go. The Admiral and Rough Passage from the inside gates very fast, and they stride for stride as they go on to lead them early. Then we come back to Fuzzy Logic. Icy Ride races between them, and Cool Samurai is going to be taken back to last. Past the 7/8 they go, and Rough Passage now established the lead, allowed to go along on a long rein. Sets a good pace though, leads it by a length. The Admiral is tracking from second. Those two have gone well clear. Big gap is 6 lengths back to Icy Ride. Fuzzy Logic on the far side, and Cool Samurai contend to trail. Down the backstretch they go. It's still Rough Passage showing the way by a length. The Admiral is right there in second. The pace still good out here. They're still well clear. They've gone 6-7 lengths in front now. Cool Samurai decides to get a little closer on the far side. Icy Ride is down at the rail, and now Fuzzy Logic's at the back. They take closer order as they go into the far turn. It's Rough Passage in front by a length and a half now, but still the Admiral right there second. The other three catching up now. Cool Samurai on the far side takes third, and here's Cool Samurai coming to tackle. In behind that comes Icy Ride, and at the back is Fuzzy Logic. Much closer order at the top of the lane now. Rough Passage along the inside. The Admiral will have to take him on. Cool Samurai on the outside. Down at the rail, Icy Ride. Anyone of 4 can win it. They come for home now. And it's Rough Passage in the white cap, desperate to hold on. The Admiral puts his head in front. The Admiral takes the advantage on the outside. Cool Samurai's coming right back at them too. Cool Samurai on the outside. Cool Samurai's going to get up. Cool Samurai got up to win it. Cool Samurai, the Admiral. Rough Passage was third.
Cool Samurai, John Sheriff's Mike Smith in his second career start, and still showing some signs of greenness, outgames the Admiral to break his maiden by a half. Second behind Wicked Strong in his debut, and that's the Jimmy Jerkins trainee that I like. Cool Samurai, first time Lasix, made that backstretch long run to get into contention, leveled out late to edge away. Minute 36.47, off 3/4 in 11.80. You know, that's a decent final quarter mile of 24.67. Cool Samurai is by First Samurai. He's out of a winless dam, and the only other sibling to start was also winless. Now, yesterday's 6th at Santa Anita was a sprint race, entry-level allowance, and Chitu a son of Henny Hughes, won in 8 and change. It was very fast, but at least right now, I think he's probably best sprinting. Now, Friday's 9th race at the fairgrounds, an entry-level allowance / optional claimer for 2-year-olds at 1 mile and 70 yards. I want you to watch the 2-to-1 favorite, number 1, Gold Hawk. Now, he was a debut winner going 7/8. I think it was the last race of the meet at Churchill in his debut. He was 5-to-1 that day for Steve Asmussen. The 5-to-2 second choice in here, number 7, Plug Catcher. So with the call of Friday's 9th from the fairgrounds, here's John Dooley.
The gate. And they're off. Son of a Preacher, Bayou St. John, Silver Rocket Man, Gold Hawk on the outside, Xander Zone, and also Plug Catcher all vying for it as they enter the first turn. Silver Rocket Man has come away on a short lead from Bayou St. John toward the inside with Son of a Preacher third and well up as they go to the back of the track with Silver Rocket Man leading now. Plug Catcher has gained fourth. Gold Hawk settled fifth with the rail there for Ricardo Santana Jr. Outside Gold Hawk as they make this backstretch run is Xander Zone. We come back then to at the inside Purple Sky second to last, and Birds 1 is trailing the field a quarter and 23 4/5 seconds. 5 furlongs to go. Silver Rocket Man sets the tone. Silver Rocket Man in front by a length and a half with Son of a Preacher second and waiting in the shadows as these 2-year-olds go to 4 furlongs out. Plug Catcher is third, Bayou St. John with the rail. Xander Zone is fifth and 5 lengths off of Silver Rocket Man. Purple Sky trying to make ground with the fence. Outside, Purple Sky is Gold Hawk, and trailing still is Birds 1, 3 furlongs from the winning line. Half mile for Silver Rocket Man, 48 seconds flat. Around the far turn, Silver Rocket Man taken on by Plug Catcher, Son of a Preacher right there between horses. On the outside is Xander Zone. Gold Hawk is in a 5 path as they come past the quarter pole, and now they're at the top of the stretch. 3/4 went in 1 minute 13 and 2/5 seconds. Son of a Preacher battles Plug Catcher. These two into this final fairgrounds furlong. On the outside is Gold Hawk trying to swoop down, and toward the inside is Purple Sky. Past the 16th, Gold Hawk, Son of a Preacher, Plug Catcher. It's Gold Hawk, and Gold Hawk comes away a deep stretch.
Steve Asmussen, Ricardo Santana Jr. rallies to defeat Son of a Preacher. Gold Hawk now 2 for 2 and sports a pretty fair pedigree to stretch out. He is a son of Empire Maker, and he is out of Caressing, who was the champion 2-year-old filly, I believe, back in 2000. Cost $450,000 as a yearling. The 1 mile and 70 yards in 43.96. Now, earlier on the card, 3-year-old entry-level allowance horses went 143.24. What I like about Gold Hawk, among other things, is in both of his starts, he's raced in traffic. He's raced between horses. He's got some dirt kicked back in his face. He could be a very interesting one. All right, time to thank all the folks who helped get this week's show on the air. Here in the studios of the Clubhouse Racebook in Albany, our associate producer, Julie Hoxie, as well as Mick Richards. Back in the control room in Schenectady, Pat Peretta directed and handled pre-production, Landis Burgess on audio. Thanks to this morning's guests, JoAnn Pepper and Chris Block and Bob Dibona. Ladies and gentlemen, have a very safe, happy, and healthy new year. Please stay safe. And for all of us here at Down the Stretch, we wish you a very happy new year, and we will see you next year.
You're watching OTB TV, a service of Capital Off Track Betting.